so many new pieces to this IU football team.
To me, that's going to set the tone on how you get ready for games on Saturday in the fall.
I would put that Indiana room up against anybody else in the conference, and that's something that we typically don't even come close to saying.
If you want to get total sickos committee about it, there's a position battle at long snapper too.
This is the Hoosier Huddle Podcast, part of the College Huddle Podcast Network.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the Hoosier Huddle live weekly chat. Sorry it's a day late, but hopefully not a dollar short. Lots of IU football news to talk about, especially coming out of today with the news of Kirk Cignetti's contract extension, or new contract is how they put it. He does deserve every dollar. He's going to be getting close to $12 million a year. I think it's 11.6. Alex Compton will join here shortly, so no more solo show. But everybody, thanks for joining, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of people in here tonight. As always, you're welcome to comment, send questions in. They'll go in the comments section. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch on X as well. And so it was a good week for Indiana football. We'll talk Oregon, we'll talk Brass Spittoon, and we'll talk Cignetti. So, Pam Whitten and Scott Dolson deserve a lot of credit for getting this done. I think, I've always said it. I felt Sig was going to stay. He wasn't going to leave. And the only way he would leave is if IU stopped financially supporting the program. And that doesn't look like it's going to be a problem. Now we could get into the weeds a little bit on what's happening with the Big Ten and private equity and all that stuff and where funding is going to come from. But I really don't want to. I'd rather keep it to the happy, fun stuff in season. So it'll be interesting to see. From Todd F, the SEC, IU is for real, been a hardcore fan since '92. Yeah, that's the thing that makes me mad too. Now, all these people, you saw Paul Feinberg, well, he's not staying at Indiana. Then you see David Pollock, the former Georgia linebacker who was on College Game Day, and I believe he's still in the SEC network. Well, Indiana overpaid. That was too long of a contract. Sorry, man. I'm sorry that your favorite team did not get Cignetti, or that he's not going to go to Florida or an SEC school and stuff like that. I really do think these guys from these traditional power programs get upset. Lose their minds that Indiana's good. And, anytime there's a new kid on the block, it upsets the apple cart. People get mad. Everybody does it. I'm sure, when Indiana basketball was winning national championships and there was a new upstart in the block, we get mad too. Just like I'm a Yankees fan and kind of mad that Toronto's winning. So there's a lot of things to do with it. So we welcome in Alex Compton. See if we could add him to the stage. Dolson is the link between Coach Knight and Cignetti. Dolson knows. I have been very hard on Scott Dolson, and Alex can agree with this. He's done a really good job learning on – he spent a lot of time with IU, and he spent time with Coach Knight and knows what it takes to win at a high Big Ten level. What I think he didn't understand was how big football has become in college sports. And I think I discussed this on the board today, Alex. Somebody's asking, well, where's it's not all just you guys, but where's all the basketball coverage? Well, basketball tips off an exhibition game against Marion tomorrow at Assembly Hall. And we'll have content out and all that stuff. But it's football. It's the middle of football season. You have the number 3 team in the country. People are talking about having, and it's not just talk. You have a legit shot to to play for a national title. Getting, TJ and I talked about it earlier on our podcast. It was, let's say IU goes 12-0, you go to the you control your destiny to go to the Big Ten championship game. Well, you'll probably play Ohio State. If you beat Ohio State and win the Big Ten, you're definitely getting a first round bye. Which seed you get, anybody's guess. If you lose to Ohio State, you're probably that 5 seed, which is probably my favorite place to be. You get a home game, and then you go play the 4 seed, kind of like Penn State did last year. But that's what the talk is. Basketball to me has become kind of a 2-month sport where the tournament is so big and all the emphasis is on that. And it's just like, okay, doesn't really start until February, but we'll have all the basketball coverage that way. But it is a football time. So, Alex, welcome in. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. What a great day for us fans, the school, everybody, future Hoosier fans. What a great day. Yeah, awesome. That's what we've talked about forever, Sammy. Like, and you and I have been banging the drum. Like, IU does not need to act like we're some basketball only Big East school. Like, this is a legitimate institution it was funny. Like, Sig started talking about the alumni base after the Oregon win. Like, yeah, we have 800,000 living alumni.
Oh, we passed. We're now number 1.
Yeah.
I know they were number 2 for a while. I guess graduated some more people, and some other people didn't graduate from someplace. I don't know how they, how often they update those. But you have the largest living alumni base in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You have a top 10 business school in the Kelly School of Business. It's not highly rated because whatever, people study hard and don't make money. It's highly rated because the people coming out of that are very smart and make a ton of money. Here is where it's nice to have Scott Dolson as your athletic director. This was like his calling card as an assistant AD, was to go make those phone calls and get funding.
Yep.
That's what he is good at. That is what he was great at. And that's probably, there are other reasons he got the job, but that was one of the big positives he got the job. Let's talk about the Oregon game a little bit. And Todd Rennie brought up something. Austin is a dump compared to Memorial Stadium. And I'll say this, I made the trip out to Eugene. It is, and I had warning, so I knew I wasn't totally thrown off. It is not the super futuristic Nike headquarters that you would think. It is a very throwback town, kind of stuck in the 70s. I compared it to a ski town without the snow. It's beautiful. It's a great town, beautiful town. We had a ton of fun going out to Sam's place to meet some IU fans. So if you're tuned in and went to that, it was nice seeing you all there. But yeah, Autzen was kind of, for all the money they get from Nike, doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you would think.
Yeah, well, they gave all their money to our buddy from Purdue to get trucked by half of the offense again, so that was fun to watch. But yeah, awesome game. Nate and I went live right after the game went final, which was fun. I had a great time watching the game. I had a great time going out in the city, wearing all my red stuff after. Wish I would have been there. I wish I was at the UCLA game last year. But, man, it was a lot of fun to watch. The CBS broadcast is really, really good, the production of it. Gary Danielson had a, pretty bad day, I thought, on the broadcast. He called us Notre Dame. He called us Illinois. He was getting Nowakowski and Stays mixed up the whole game. He didn't know which running back was in a lot. He was mixing up guys left and right, and it seemed like they definitely did more homework on Oregon, which is, I guess, understandable. But yeah, I mean, it seems like they did all of their background on Coach Sig and less on the roster. So that would be my one gripe now if we're going to be in a bunch of national TV games, is they're going to have to learn the roster. It's not just all Coach Sig, but yeah, I guess if we're going to be ranked third in the country and extend our coach for $100 million, like, I guess I'll take it when I can get it, I guess. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I do want to talk about the fans who traveled, and this is I've been harping on it as something stupid for years. Hoosier the Bison came out and the cheerleaders came out, and I think that goes a long way. And you saw it on TV; they're great visuals. You saw it on game day. Hoosier beat whatever the duck at tic tac toe, and Pat McAfee called him the worst tic tac toe player he's ever seen. So, like, first of all, kudos for IU for doing that. They should do it for every away game, not just top 5 games or top 10 games or whatever. Every away game, because it brings such a visual to the TV spot of it. Now, as far as fans traveling, IU, we saw it at bowl games with the Pinstripe Bowl. We saw it in 2007 with the Insight Bowl. When IU has an event, they will travel well. And now it's every away game's an event. Last year it started with UCLA. Oh, in the future schedules, it was, we have to go see IU play at the Rose Bowl. Well, now this year it's, let's go see IU take on and beat a top 5 team on the road. Let's go take over Purdue on Black Friday. Let's go see them get their first win at Happy Valley and things like that. And you saw at the end of last year, there were a lot of IU fans at Ohio State. There were a lot of fans at Iowa. So it's good to see them turning out and traveling to games to where, even the West Coast alums come out too. So they had a packed full flight on American, I think, going out of Indy. It looked like a ton of fun, way out of my price range. So unless I up the Hoosier Huddle subscriptions or get a ton more of you all to subscribe, that wasn't in the cards. But it was, when IU puts on an event, they know how to do it, just like Indianapolis knows how to put on an event. So, for all the decades that people didn't travel and save their money, now's the time to spend it and go, because the road trips are really fun.
Yeah, I went last year. I did 4 games last year. I went to the opener. I went to Nebraska.
Northwestern too,
yeah.
And that was like
I took the train in Northwestern. That was cool to do that. And then what was the other game I went to? Oh, the playoff game. Yeah. So a 2-2 home and road split. Northwestern was like a half-hour commute for me, so that was a little better than a 5-hour drive, but didn't hit the same. But that was a fun one too. I went to the opener this year. I'm planning to go to the Black Friday Purdue game. Easy drive from Chicago, so I do expect a lot of red at that one, hopefully, which would be cool. But yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah, let's talk about before we get into the Spittoon game. Todd brings up a good point. It's like the first time that
pretty fun.
That you're scoreboard watching, to steal a baseball term, and seeing how it'll affect IU football. And at this point, it's on the early side, but it makes sense. You're halfway through the season, and you see a clear path to now it's like the math is easy. It's win your games and you're in the Big Ten title game, and then it becomes, okay, you watch who Texas Tech plays, who Alabama plays, and all that stuff. It'll get more complicated in November. There's still a ton of football to play in terms of, where things might fall, but you could see the branches getting pruned off on all the options that may or may not happen. So, to watch, to see what happens, not only in the Big Ten, but also around the country, it just makes the sport so much better. And I know I've been anti-playoff and get off my lawn about it. But at this point, that ship has sailed. It's probably going to expand. And if I expand it, if I was in charge, do 24 teams, 4 teams from each Power 4 conference, and then each, group of 5, group of 6, champion in Notre Dame could get a bid to, can get in there. And that way, you're playing on It's a long way off, sort of, but it's fun to watch postseason stuff. So let's get to.
I have a very, as we look at Michigan State, I guess start with Michigan State because I'm looking at Big Ten like team cumulative stats right now. So do intro this, and then I have some interesting stats I'll read off. We'll play a guessing game for IU and Michigan State.
Oh, right. Yeah, Indiana, Michigan State, Saturday, 3:30. Peacock, unfortunately, for those of you who are done with the streaming networks, but you can follow it here in our game threads on HoosierHuddle.com. It's the old brass spittoon game. This series has kind of been out of whack for a little bit. The home team has not won since 2019. Indiana has claimed the spittoon up in East Lansing in 2020, in 2022, and 2024. So it's an interesting rivalry. Michigan State's an interesting team. They started 3-0. They beat Boston College in a great double overtime game. They looked better, and then all of a sudden they went out west and lost a close game to USC, and it seems like the wheels have fallen off. Alex, Nate did our chatter from the other sideline, watched their press conference, and it took them 13 minutes to ask about IU. The first couple questions were about what is your message to the fan base and donors, which is never a good question if you want to be a head coach.
I mean, Jonathan Smith has been there 14 games now, or I don't know, 18 games probably. Yeah.
So I think Michigan State's on quit watch. They're going to be without 2 starting offensive linemen. Aiden Childs is banged up. He should play, but he's banged up. IU knocked him out of the game last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this defensive line is better at getting to the passer. So we'll see. Get to your let's play guess those numbers.
Okay, yeah. I guess quick one before I saw a graph on Twitter yesterday. I should have bookmarked it or something, but Michigan State in the Power 4, I think gives up the most havoc plays on offense to opposing defenses. So basically people getting in the backfield, making life difficult either with pressuring the quarterback or hitting the ball carrier before they get to the line of scrimmage. That's the loose definition of havoc and havoc rate. Indiana leads the Big Ten in causing havoc plays when they're on defense. Obviously, that's not a great matchup if you're projecting a winner of this game. Look, Indiana's a 27.5 point favorite right now. So Sammy's favorite term is a pick your score game. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but this is a game where if Indiana goes out and scores touchdowns on the first 2 out of 3 drives and it's 14-0, 14-3, yeah, I do think you're going to kind of see the roll over and pat my belly from Michigan State and maybe not a team that's highly motivated to keep fighting. I mean, I watched clips this week of their weekly radio show that they do with Jonathan Smith, much like we do with Fish and Coach Sig. Jonathan Smith, again, what are you going to draw that's going to from a Tuesday night radio show that's going to affect the game on Saturday? But I mean, if you want to look at a guy that was not super engaged and didn't seem to really be overly fired up, I mean, that was a pretty good example of it. But does that mean anything for Saturday? Probably not, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. But yeah, so that's my thing to watch for the game. I think IU's front 7 should have a field day, much like they did last season. They really got after Michigan State on both sides of the ball up front. And I think so far you could say maybe IU's had better line play than they did last season on both sides of the ball, which is crazy, especially defensive line wise. But that will be what I'm watching. I think IU is going to get after Childs early and often. And I think it's going to be really tough for them to string together drives. So you may see a lot of underneath completions. I think they're going to focus on not giving up big plays just to keep everything in front and make Michigan State really go down the field with 10-play drives and see if they can do that. If Oregon can't do it, you'd like to think Michigan State won't be able to do it on the road, but this is why you play the games. And look, Michigan State has guys that other Big Ten teams would take off their roster right now and play and put in their 2 deep. So it's not like this is a a MAC school. Like, this is a legitimate team with real players. So yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll talk more about it, but I just thought some of these stats were interesting. So Indiana is second to last in the conference, Sammy, in total tackles, which I think is really interesting. It's because the defense just has not been on the field because they get off the field so quickly, and then the offense is just holding the ball.
Yep.
Indiana does lead the Big Ten in sacks, though. Who is second in the Big Ten in sacks for like total defense?
Total defense
It's
and
a tie.
sacks.
Yeah.
So Ohio State and Oregon?
Nope. It is Maryland, who we play, and USC. Both have 20. Indiana has 22. Indiana leads the Big Ten with 57 tackles for loss. The next closest team is 45, which is USC, which is insane. Literally insane. And all of these other teams, like solo tackles, they have like 250, close to 300. IU has 170 total solo tackles, again, because they're not on the field.
They're not on the field, and they swarm to the ball.
It's just crazy. 9 picks. Maryland has 12 picks. I mean, their defense seems to be making a lot of plays. That'll be, I think, a tougher game than a lot of people are maybe anticipating right now. But Maryland could easily be 6-0 right now. Yeah. Michigan State. Yeah. I mean, look, yeah, their thing is Nick Marsh on the outside. They've struggled to find consistent playmakers on offense, including Marsh this season on offense. Defensively, good, not great. Again, I think IU should have their way up front with them on both sides of the ball. But for me, I really struggle to see how Michigan State is going to string together 8, 9, 10, 11 play drives. I think they're really going to struggle to keep IU's front seven out of the backfield, and we'll see. I mean, again, that's why you play the game. So it's going to be super interesting, but I can't believe that we are now basically 2 years removed from shoulda losing to Akron at home to being 28-point favorites in the Spittoon game, and you're ranked 3rd in the country. Like, it's unbelievable, honestly. It's awesome, and I love it, and I always thought it was possible, regardless of what people always said, but it is a little crazy to be like, in 2 years, you are now ranked 3rd, and you're 4 touchdown favorites in a Big Ten game. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, but given the where the sport is with the portal and NIL money, it's not impossible. And IU is proving that there's a way to do it. Now, you have to have an elite coach, an elite talent evaluator. You got to have somebody who knows how to see if people fit the culture. Because the Penn State brought in the roster that was one bad throw away from going to the national title game and playing Ohio State again, and they just totally imploded. Whether it's because of the head coach, whether it's because they lost a close game at home to Oregon and then just didn't show up, or if the culture was bad, or if it's more than just this year. The James Franklin hot seat was more of a slow burn. This was not. He did not get fired because of this 3-game losing streak. He got fired because he's had some really, really good teams that just never, steal a Mike Woodson line, never got over the hump. Sorry if I triggered anybody's PTSD.
Yeah, but you can't say that.
But that's why it got canned. But going back to the Michigan State game, I do think this could be a name your score game. Now, hopefully the weather cooperates and shows up later in the evening on Saturday than in the middle of the day. There is some storm fronts coming through. If the weather stays away, I think Indiana rolls, like, no problem. However, you play Mendoza however long you want to play Fernando. And all that stuff. But if it rains and you get a lightning delay or a wet field or something like that, it's something where, okay, Is it that important to drop 60 on Michigan State, or just get out of there, cover the spread? Because I think IU, as much disrespect as they've gotten from the national media, I think they've gotten enough respect to where they don't have to beat everybody by 60 points like they did last year, where it was margin of victory that got IU into the playoffs. So, you don't need to put Mendoza in harm's way. You don't have to put these receivers in harm's way or the defenders in harm's way. I don't think the start times are that bad. I don't think the storms are that bad. And it's weather in Indiana. It could change. I don't think it's that predictable to do that. But it's one, like, if you do have a short delay or a start and stop, it's okay. We're up by however many points. Let's just throw the backups in. We know our backups are good. And get out of here with a victory. No need to have Mendoza pad stats or anything like that. You have so much more to play for than just the spittoon. And if you get somebody hurt who's very important to this team because you're padding stats on a slick field, it's not great. So
I say F them. That's what I say. I say run it up.
Sure, but yeah, I'd rather win a national title.
That'd be pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah, I did.
Sure.
Yeah.
You just think of that. You're an amazing coach. Yeah, I'll go with that too. Yeah, good pick.
Where's my $90 million?
Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, fully guaranteed. Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's actually, I want the Jimbo Fisher deal. I want $75 million to go away.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, I haven't looked at the forecast at all, but
yeah, it says like 80% chance of rain in the evening. Who the heck knows what weather.com counts as the evening?
Yeah, probably benefits IU too, if anything.
Yeah.
Make Michigan State one-dimensional. IU leads the Big Ten in rushing yards per game with like 250 or something. So yeah, I mean, that would work well for Indiana, I think.
Is it Troika? If you're not padding stats but play starters into the third, assuming that they're kicking butt, yeah, I think so. At least the quarterback and maybe some offensive linemen. I do think you want to get Kobe Martin in there earlier to keep him fresh. Maybe get some of these younger receivers in there and play like a guy like
LeBron Bond in a while.
Bond played against Oregon. He came in when EJ Williams went out for a little bit, but get Bond in, get Charlie Becker in, and some guys like that. I don't know if you'll see a guy like Miles Kendrick. I think they're trying to save his red shirt, but it's definitely a game where, yeah, you could mix and match and pull some guys into the third, but yeah, you got to take care of business first. You got to get out to a big lead.
Yeah.
What other questions do people have on Indiana football? Keep them coming. There's no such thing as too many questions or dumb questions. Yeah, the Austin Star kick is still the moment I compare everything to. Although the win at Oregon was pretty good too.
Yeah, it was sweet. I had so much fun. I was joking after the Jones pick, like just outside of the 2-minute warning, jumped up in the air. Did grab the hammy a little bit. Did feel there. So that was not great. So I had to nurse that one a little bit to hit the town, but got it done. So I was questionable to return, upgraded to probable, and then I made it out. But yeah,
hold on. Did you say you may or may not be able to return? Was that the official report?
Exactly. I had an undisclosed lower body injury. May or may not return. Yeah. Tall.
I think it's, do you feel like y'all have imposter syndrome? I do. I don't think so. I think we've been through this enough that we know what good football looks like. Even though Indiana hasn't always been good at football, they played good football teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know what good football teams look like. And I said it last year against, was it Western Illinois? And people probably laughed at me. I said, yeah, this is a good football team.
Yeah.
And it was after that, because that's what good football teams do to bad football teams, is they beat them 77-3. Do you think Smith gets canned if this is uncompetitive? I don't know. What's their schedule? I don't know if it'll happen after the game or after the season. I don't know if this is a John L. Smith thing.
I don't know. It's just so interesting. Because the rumor 2 years ago was Jonathan Smith was trying whatever he could to get the UCLA job. He was back channeling. His agent was all over it. He ends up taking the Michigan State job, of course, and then 2 weeks later, UCLA opens when they let Chip Kelly go. So it was, damned if you do, damned if you don't. He definitely wanted to get out of Oregon State, get into a conference, all that stuff. At the time, Michigan State was very excited about their hire. I thought that was a great hire for them. At the time, if Indiana ended up with Jonathan Smith, I would have thought that was a great hire.
So their bye week is after the Minnesota game. So they get IU
after us.
No, they play Michigan after us. And I think that's one where if this is uncompetitive, to answer John Hayes' question first, no, Indiana just doesn't return kickoffs. We said this last year. It's the weirdest stat I gave Don. I looked at him at Notre Dame. I said, Don, we've returned 4 kickoffs all year.
Well, here's my thing. If you know the offense is going to be so good, why would you risk a holding?
Yeah, why risk it?
Why would you get backed up 5 yards if you don't make it to the 25? Now that you get the ball in the 25, I don't know. Unless it's Devin Hester back there. I mean, Solomon Van Horst was an all-conference returner at one point at JMU, but I mean, that's definitely something they talk about in game plan for us. I mean, I'm fine with it personally. It would be more fun if you had a Jalen Lucas or something back there, but they think
can do it. He's shown he can do it, but yeah. Especially with BB going down, you lost your up back and the running back.
David, a lot of the kickers have been really good this year too. There haven't been a ton of kicks you could have caught on the 5 yard line or 7 yard line. A lot of them have been really deep or in the end zone. So that's probably the Mendoza line or whatever you want to call it, but probably the 6 or 7 yard line is if it's there, you catch it. If not, fair catch it or let it go in the end zone. So I mean,
let's go back to the Jonathan Smith thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the Michigan game. Look, Oregon State opened back up too this week. Now I know it's not a P4 job, but the Pac-12 is coming back in some reimagination of the Pac-12 is coming back next year. I don't know if it's this game that does it, but if he gets his butt kicked by Michigan, that might get him out the door. And if he loses the next 3, which IU, Michigan, Minnesota, they have that bye week, I think he's done then.
Yeah, his current buyout is $31.5 million if he's fired before February 1st, and then 25 if he's fired after February 1st.
I don't think
obviously that gets offset if you take a different job that gets offset. Yeah, it'd be interesting if he went back to Oregon State. I don't know. I think he's probably right now trying to get to UCLA, but I think this season has kind of killed any chances of him getting hired by UCLA. But that's apparently been the rumor forever.
Or maybe he's just checked out because he has the UCLA job.
Maybe it's possible. I don't know. But yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was apparently all the rage, and the loudest secret on the West Coast in college football was that Jonathan Smith wanted to go to UCLA, and then he missed it by about 2 weeks. So, so yeah.
Like how Kobe Martin's playing, how do you think we're developing other young players? I would think pretty well. You see Charlie Becker's played well. the best example I could see is Alberto Mendoza. He came in really talented, extremely raw, a funky throwing motion. Um, I not really a project, but he needed to be developed to become a good quarterback, and I think he is a good quarterback and will be a good quarterback in the future. Uh, the offensive linemen you've seen come in, they don't play as much because Sig and Bostad don't substitute on the offensive line that much, and they have a lot of older guys, and that's a position where you want to be an older guy. It's hard to tell in practice how, and we don't get to see practice after fall camp ends anyway. So it's really hard to tell how far along somebody is, especially on the offensive line in practice. Now, when we go and see spring practice, you can say, oh, well, they got bigger and they look faster and stronger and all that stuff. But until they go up against an opponent, it's really difficult to tell. But I think skill position wise, you look at Elijah Hardy as well.
I was like Roe Hardy and Jones. Yeah.
Isaiah Jones has
both the D
really been developed.
Yeah.
Yep. Kellen Wyatt, who was high on. Now he's a veteran guy.
Switch positions though. So I mean,
yeah,
coached him up. Yeah, and then I look at Landino and Tucker.
Landino.
Both 2-star guys that I cannot believe how good Tyreek Tucker has been. That was one before the season. We were like, you lose CJ West, you lose James Carpenter, who were both really good last season. Who steps up at defensive tackle? We brought in Wheeler, we brought in Ratcliffe. Wheeler and Ratcliffe have been solid. They have been overshadowed by the development of Landino and Tucker, who are homegrown guys on this coaching staff in this program now. Of course, originally Tucker was JMU for 1 year. Landino was committed to JMU, followed Sig to Bloomington. They have both been amazing. And so that's an example for me of like, he's not going to play you unless you are ready to play. Like, he's not going to just throw you out there and say, go ahead, kid, figure it out. Like, Allen and Wilson would do that sometimes. You could tell they had their favorites and they had guys that maybe they promised spots to get them to come here or whatever. That's not how Sig is going to do it. Like, I'm sure they paid money to Rylan Gandy to get him to come here from Pitt. Jamari Sharp beat him out. Jamari Sharp was playing. They paid money for Wheeler and Ratcliffe, probably a good amount to get them against other teams that probably really wanted them. They're technically on the 2 deep, or number 2 is on the 2 deep because they got beat out by guys that are playing better and developed better. So yeah, and we saw that even last year, like linebacker rotations, like Roe Hardy was an unknown guy. He played over guys that had scholarships and had been on the team and all that stuff. So yeah, I think they're definitely developing everybody, probably not just the young guys, but if they're on the field, that means they're ready to go. And like when Wyatt and Kamara both got hurt on the same play against Oregon last week, like Andrew Turvey, who's a walk-on, played, and IU has a lot of talented freshman and sophomore edge guys, but it was the older edge guy walk-on that played, which I thought was interesting. So I'm sure they're developing. I'm sure now it's hard for the young guys to say, I don't believe in the system. I'm not going to buy in. Like, you can see it now, like, especially if you're a recruit. I think the message is like, you might have to sit your first year, but look what's going to happen to you if you get in our system and do it the right way. So yeah, I think they're definitely developing everybody. And I think that'll be the biggest thing I'm most curious for in the offseason now is like, how does IU continue to add quality depth and develop guys if you don't have as many starting spots? But we'll see how that plays out. And obviously it's a really good problem to have, but yeah, I'm sure they're developing everybody really well.
Keep the questions coming. We'll be here probably till about 10:15, and then we'll close out for the night and get on with game week. Indiana basketball starts tomorrow on BTN Plus. I put out on the forums a link for $10 off on BTN Plus. So if it's for the annual pass, and yeah, we get a piece of it if you sign up. However, they didn't pay me to say this. I love BTN Plus. I have it. I've had it since 2011 or whenever it came out. They have all the games backlogged, ad-free. You can watch it in 60 minutes. You could do the condensed game. You could do the full game without commercials. They have every show that has been on BTN. They have, the classic games. You could go back and watch Antoine Randall against Illinois and Wisconsin. You could go back and watch the Austin Star kick or Hep's win over Iowa and all that stuff. So I think it's totally worth the whatever amount a month I pay, like $11. So go and sign up for that so you could get it. I feel free to cancel after the game, but a lot of good stuff on BTN Plus the Indiana volleyball's on there, even though they lost to Purdue tonight up in Indy. So a lot of soccer games on there as well. And then, of course, in the spring, you have baseball and softball on BTN Plus as well. Any word on the UCLA start time yet? No, it was put into their 6-day window, so we'll know for sure Sunday. I am 85% sure that this is going to be a big noon kickoff. I think
you are plugged in on the TV stuff. I will say.
Well, I have a guy. Everybody has their guy. I have a TV guy. No, he works for NBC, and he's the one who gives me all the heads up when I ask him. So he told me 6-day window. He said Fox wants it, so that's probably going to be the big noon game, which is fine. We need a big noon game. I know people don't like noon games. I know somebody has a bar mitzvah that needs to be postponed. I don't know how Pat Knight's doing at Marion. Sorry.
No idea. Are we wearing black uniforms?
That is not an official rumor. That's kind of a gut feeling.
Yeah.
So when Nick and Ben were walking around the stadium, they started to see more black apparel at stuff. Now, I don't know if they saw a black uniform or whatever, and I really haven't walked around the stadium all that much. Men's soccer wore it against UCLA.
Yep.
I think you're not going to wear it against Michigan State because
Homecoming.
It's homecoming, and it's, first of all, green, and the green-red matchup is classic. Classic Christmas color matchup.
It's interesting. In the NBA, you're not allowed to wear green against red because colorblind concerns on television. So,
yeah, well, nobody watches Indiana football, right? That's
right.
what it is.
Yeah, we stink.
Yeah. Well, it's not like a solid green jersey and a solid red jersey. It's usually green,
with
white or red or white and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's not like the NBA and stuff like that. I just thought they disallowed it because the Knicks green St. Patrick's Day jerseys were super ugly. But yeah, I think there's a shot that there's black uniforms against UCLA or at some point this year.
Be sweet.
And I know Sig doesn't seem like a special uniform kind of guy, but if IU's athletic department says, hey, Adidas is giving us this stuff and giving us a good chunk of money for it, money talks.
Yeah.
Okay. From John Hayes, what are your theories as to the cause of the safety breakdowns that have led to touchdowns? I think it's just one, the play against Oregon, I think, was a bad read by Amari Farrell. It was good play design on offense, and the fake pitch kind of sucked him in, and he just forgot about the guy in the slot, and he ran by him. The other ones seem to be communication issues, and that might be because they haven't played as much together. That also might be because they're using fewer signals from the sideline and getting it in slower. But whatever it is, outside of the first game, it's been a one issue problem. Like there's been an issue in most of the games, but it's only happened once. And then the coaches, it seems like they fixed it up. That's my theory on it, is that they're going more helmet communication, and there's a gap in communication or a lull somewhere where it's slower than having the hand signals.
Yeah, and when IU plays a lot of zone, especially on the outside, when they do that, there are a lot of nuances to, and again, I'm not an X's and O's guy, but the way that they play zone, there's a lot of passing off of who has what guy, depending on what route they run. So sometimes Farrell comes up too far. Sometimes Lou Moore comes up too far because he thinks he's supposed to take somebody. The corner stops, and then neither guy has them. So happens a lot. Like, that's why having a good defensive line always helps. It's going to happen. It's football, especially in the Big Ten. It's going to happen. So now you've seen, honestly, both touchdowns, I think, were that Pons-Farrell exchange on the outside. So I think the Illinois one was that side of the field, and the Oregon one was Pons and Farrell.
Yeah, I think the Oregon
really
one
good
was
players.
more of
They're both
their
awesome
play
players,
design.
but that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the Oregon one was more of Oregon's play design, maybe to take advantage of that. But I do think that fake pitch kind of drew them in. Game day or Fox for ESPN are just, it's not worthless. It's a 3-hour advertisement for Indiana.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
On national television.
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't. Do I watch them regularly? No. Do I want us to have them? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't watched enough teams to know which ones use 3 linebackers. I'm basically just locked into IU's opponents.
Same at this point for me as well.
But I know a lot of people have moved to the 4-2-5, and while IU is a 4-2-5 defense, they do have a 4-3 package, and they've just switched it to their base defense.
Yeah. I have a challenge. If anybody can find me a link to a good white Indiana football jersey, I would greatly appreciate it. I bought a playoff patch from last year that I want to add to a jersey, but I think it's weird to add it to the red one since we played that game in white, but I probably am overthinking it a little bit. But I do want a white IU football jersey. That would be my fourth jersey if I can get it. There's a couple on eBay, because the one like on Adidas right now is that old alternate one with like the deeper red that we wore.
I can't do white shirts.
Jersey, I probably won't even wear it, but I'll feel weird with the patch on it.
I have a 1-year-old. I also eat like a 5-year-old sometimes. It's white clothing and myself don't mix.
Not a good combo for you. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, fair enough.
Make sure it's spelled correctly too, Alex.
Yeah, I don't even care. I just want the patch to be on there. But yeah, I mean, it would be good if it was. There's a couple these fake websites I've been looking at, but
it's more donations than recruits too. There is no negative to have game day or big noon kickoff there. None, absolutely none. It's just a 3-hour love fest for your school. It was out in Eugene. I didn't get to catch the whole thing because it started at 6 a.m. and I was sleeping. But to have Hoosier on there, to have Pat McAfee pick IU when everybody else picked Oregon, and then have that clip just go around after the game it's priceless. I don't think recruits are picking IU just because of that. Nah, man. It needs to last more than 5 minutes. Like, I know it looks new and whatever. Nah, give me something crimson or red where ketchup and barbecue stains kind of blend in. But
Walk around with
thanks.
a candy striped apron on all the time, man. I don't know.
There we go.
It could look game used though, if you get it a little grungy. I don't know. Something to think about.
So, any final thoughts, Alex, before we hit the hay?
No, I mean I was texting you guys about it. And look, the staff has definitely earned the benefit of the doubt, but if you want to talk about a game that has a lot of outside noise, Saturday is a great example of it. Reverse trap game. You got over the hump.
That's why my matchup to watch is SIG versus
I thought that was good. Yeah, I read that one. I thought that was good. Yeah, it's like, look, IU got over the hump, with a huge win, obviously, on Saturday. Everybody's talking about you. Everybody's saying you're a national title contender. Everybody's saying you're going to play Ohio State and Indianapolis. Everybody's saying this, saying that. Coach Sig signs a massive extension today. IU is all over the news again. Everybody's talking Hoosiers, Hoosiers, Hoosiers. Nobody's talking about Indiana playing a game on Saturday. I'm sure the coaches are. I'm sure the players are focused and the staff is locked in on that. But there's just a lot of outside noise. And now the fan base cannot get complacent and expect every game now that we're just going to roll out here and beat the crap out of everybody. It's not how it works in the Big Ten. It's not how it works in Division I football. Indiana has to be ready to play on Saturday. Michigan State is not just going to walk on the field and hand them the game. I'm not expecting our team to think like that, but you have to come out and play a solid enough game to win by a good margin, and that's not going to happen if you're just sleepwalking through the game. So I do like that it's a 3:30 kick instead of a noon kick for that reason. A little more time just to make sure everybody's nice and awake and all that good stuff, but we will see. If IU comes out and scores early, I do think it will get ugly if you're a Michigan State fan. We've seen it before, though. IU in the past has played down to the level of competition. They have not really done that with SIG, which is awesome. So if they play their game and play well, it should be a substantial win. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Like, amazing week, amazing 4 days for the program, amazing I don't know how long was Saturday, 5 days ago, whatever, close enough. You get the point. 5 days ago, amazing 5 days, awesome for everybody watching right now, I'm sure. Awesome for us, awesome for the program, the players, future players, all that good stuff. But no one will give a damn if you lose on Saturday what you did at Oregon. So as much progress as you made, it can pretty quickly go away if you slip up big time on Saturday. So
yeah, I'm going to agree with
week
Todd.
To week, it's what have you done for me lately? So
I'm going to agree with Todd on this
Saturday's
one. SIG is going to stalk complacency. We're on a complacency hunt this week instead of a duck hunt.
Yep.
And I think, he switched over to spittoon mode really quick. Look, we were near the IU locker room after the Oregon game. It was loud. It was a festive atmosphere. You could hear it on the interviews and all that stuff. But yeah, to me, it's, can you keep the focus? I think they can. This is what, if I'm the coach of this team, the test this week is, can you keep your focus? It's not the opponent who IU is better than and has more talent than and all that stuff. It's, can you play your game and keep the focus? Because if IU plays their game, they'll cover, they'll win. It'll be a happy homecoming for all. And you move to 7-0 and get ready for UCLA. So, all right, I'll give you another 2 minutes for questions, and then we'll get out of here. We'll have more football stuff coming out tomorrow. IU will raise the victory flag and keep the spittoon if. Our game day primer will come out on Saturday morning for football. We will have a basketball primer out tomorrow morning, a couple hours before the game, as well as a gamer up after the game. Again, that is on BTN Plus. And then the IU football game at 3:30. on Peacock. So last call for questions.
I'll ask you another stats one while we wait to see if any. I don't know. I'm worried about the Maryland game. I don't know why.
I'm not. Is Mike Loxley still coach of Maryland?
Yep.
I'm not worried.
IU is first in the Big Ten in rushing yards per game. Who is last in the Big Ten in rushing yards per game?
Is it USC?
Maryland.
Oh, yeah.
98 yards per game.
Yeah, I bet they wish they had Roman Emby.
Probably. That would be good. They huck it around the yard, though. Washington's pretty fun to watch. But, yeah, he makes freshman mistakes sometimes. But he is a cannon. Holy crap. A cannon.
Is Mike Loxley still the coach?
For now.
Yeah.
Yep. He is.
Yeah, I'm not, which probably makes me more worried is that I'm not worried. I'm not, there's not a game on the schedule that worries me. Like, Maryland does not scare me. It scared me if Tom Allen was the head coach because Tom Allen couldn't figure out that offense. Now, Maryland scored 28 points on IU last year, but that was a game IU turned the ball over like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense played very well.
Yeah.
And you have a better offensive line, and I don't think Maryland is as talented as they were last year. That was a good Maryland team last year. And they just, once IU beat them, they fell off the face of the earth.
Yep. Here's another question for you. Name these two. Well, these are identical stat lines. Guess one of them is Surratt. Guess who the other one is? Both 6 games.
Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, very good. Surratt has 39 catches, 533 yards, 7 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith has 40 catches, so 1 more catch, 505 yards, so 30 less, and also has 7 touchdowns.
I mean, IU's talent, like they have
Smith
talent. We said all year, all preseason, this roster is more talented than it was last year. Now, the schedule was more difficult, but the upgrade, I think the biggest, and this is Curtis Roker's really, really good. But I think the biggest upgrade for IU has been the offensive line with Pat Coogan.
Yep.
And then just the unbelievable plays and throws that Mendoza has made. Like there are plays that he has made that Curtis Rourke could the run at any run where he ran for first down. But there's also been some throws that he's just dotted. The one to EJ Williams at Iowa, the throw to Surratt for the game-winning touchdown last week. There's just been so many good throws where his elite arm strength has come through. Now he made the critical mistake against Iowa and Oregon, but he has shown the poise that he could come back and lead game-winning drives with it. So this roster's, I don't want to say a ton better because it's a little disrespectful to last year's team, but they're better. This is a really good roster. They're really good. And now you know how far now you kind of know who your field goal kicker is. If it's from 50 and beyond, it's Frankie, who he hit that 58-yarder twice. And then Radich has been money from like 45 in. So, and Frankie on kickoffs just totally negates anything that the other team does on kick return. So, all right, we'll get you out on that. Anything for the good of the order?
Nope. Go Hoosiers. Great day today. Great day to be a Hoosier. Really excited for Saturday, for everybody going back for homecoming. I'm jealous. I hope you have an amazing time. You deserve to have an amazing time. Can't wait to watch the boys on Peacock, and really looking forward to more content. Again, basketball starting up, so I have a bunch of stuff for that. I'm excited. I'm really interested to see what the basketball team is going to look like. Obviously, I'm dialed in on football. Yeah, really excited
to see who's available and playing tomorrow. That's my thing. You're not like tomorrow's a practice game. It's practice. Baylor's, we call it a dress rehearsal. Baylor's a dress rehearsal. I'm interested to see who's healthy and who's actually going to play. Outside of that, the takeaways are probably minimal. but it's getting to be that time. So there was one more thing I wanted to say, but I forgot. All right. Have a good night.
Thanks, Todd, for the sub. Appreciate it.
Yep. And yeah, we'll have everything covered tomorrow and the rest of the way. So thanks. Good night. And if you're not watching live, we'll be back next week as long as people's schedules work out on Wednesday at 8:30.